Well, Extra Frame fans, we're here at Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville, Illinois, the 2016 Extra Frame Storm Open. Phil Bryler here with Randy Peterson. And Randy, it is one heck of a star-studded, packed Stepladder final today.
Yes, it's spearheaded by Ryan Ciminelli. He's looking to go back-to-back. E.J. Tackett, Sean Rash, and there's been a Patrick Allen sighting. So, and then Stephen Taylor's going to be in our opening match. So, Stephen Taylor, a regional player, has won 3 times on the regional circuit. So, a lot of great players. We've got major championship winners in store. So, lots and lots of talent, lots and lots of power. They're going to throw a lot of strikes.
Yeah, and it's 35-foot cheetah pattern as well. We know the strikes are going to get thrown en masse out in the lanes.
Yeah, it's I really see this coming down to how the lanes transition, and do they break down to where they get real wet dry, meaning the dry gets so dry when the players' bowling balls get to it, it overreacts, and then the oil becoming too steep where if the players get it in a little bit, the ball goes too long. And so the player that's able to blend out this oil pattern when it starts to break down is going to be the player that hoists the trophy at the end.
Yeah, we're going to have our opening match coming back for you shortly. Sean Rash versus Stephen Taylor from Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville, Illinois. Join us back after this short break on Extra Frame.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
We're going to start match 1 here against Steve Taylor against Sean Rash. Let's give a nice round of applause. And don't be afraid to clap after the shots, folks, just like you normally see. Let's give a nice round.
And it's the opening Stepladder match from Liberty Lanes, Carpentersville, Illinois. 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. Phil Bryler here with Randy Peterson. Steve Taylor, Sean Rash, the opening match. And a great shot there by Steve Taylor.
Nice opening shot by Steven, who owns 3 regional titles to his credit, but he's taken on proven winner, major championship winner, Sean Rash in the opening match.
Sean, a little struggles earlier today on this 35-foot cheetah pattern, but after the first couple of games, he was pretty much unstoppable climbing the ladder into the number 4 position, pardon me. And Sean using a pretty similar line to what we saw as the pattern broke down today, Randy.
Well, he used a real strong, aggressive bowling ball in warm-ups and practice to really fry the outside part of the lane even more, and then he just kind of moves in off of that with something that's a little bit less aggressive.
Winner of this match takes on Patrick Allen in the quarterfinal match. Patrick Allen had a heck of a run earlier today. We'll discuss a little later. Pretty solid out of the hand and kicks the 10 out.
Yeah, great shot. Sean's been bowling really, really well. The last month or so, he had a nice run in Portland, Maine for the Extra Frame event there, and he's continued riding a nice little hot streak.
Stephen Taylor likes this center. Last year, the PBA Midwest All-State Open was held here, and he finished in 3rd position, losing to eventual winner A.J. Johnson, an event you may have seen on the PBA YouTube channel. Didn't look good with the footing there, Randy.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little fast, and when that happens, you see players lose their balance at the foul line. Now he's left himself with a 3-10 split. Not a tough pickup, but on this 35-foot cheetah oil pattern, all we've seen for the last couple of days has been a strike fest.
Yeah, lots of bowlers running front 8, front 9 during matches. Patrick Allen a 300 game earlier today, and not enough right on that shot. Takes the 3 off the 10 in a quick 22-pin possible deficit for Stephen Taylor.
Because of how high the scores have been right now, he's got to be thinking, man, I got to take this off the sheet from the 3rd frame to have a chance to win. if he does strike out, he'll have 268.
Yeah, there were quite a few matches throughout the day today. You'd see 260, 240, 270, 250. Much better with the footwork for Taylor, but still high.
I wonder if his ball reaction's being affected at all by what Sean Rash did in practice, and if so, kudos to Sean for breaking him down to his advantage.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a very aggressive piece that Taylor's using there. Not a lot of surface on that ball for Taylor. And gets them both down for the spare, but 22 pins in the hole early. Rash looking to extend that lead with a couple more strikes here in frames 3 and 4. $10,000 and a national PBA title up for grabs here at Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville. And little balk, Patrick Allen pressing down the center a little bit. And the pin setter a little loud for Sean.
At least it wasn't me.
Yeah. Third frame for Rash, looking for 3 in a row. Nothing but 10 back. Beautiful shot by Rash.
He's really played the lanes beautifully the last couple of days, and in the way he's attacked the pocket, even when the lanes got a little bit drier, you didn't see Sean weigh in and creating a big angle through the front part of the lane. He's been able to keep his angles fairly tight through the front part from the first game to the last game of qualifying, and the same thing today in match play.
Rash looking to extend to 42. Not happy with it at release, and you can see why. 3, 6, and 10.
Looked like he just got too much hand in that shot.
And that's not that tough to do, because you see a lot of these bowlers really not to give 100%, you can say, at the release, because they know if they grab it just that hair bit, it's definitely going through the nose. With that spare, the lead is 29 for Rash through his section of the fourth frame. So what does Stephen Taylor do here? He's gone high the last 2 shots, and as you said, Randy, it could be what he's done to the lane, or what Rash has done to the lane to affect him.
I think he has to parallel left, so that way his angles stay the same through the front part of the lane.
I think that was the perfect. I think he overheard you over here, Randy.
Stephen Taylor's a good bowler, and he knows the move he has to make. The problem is he didn't get in front of that move, and it cost him frames in the second and third, one of them being an open.
29 still the deficit for Taylor, but looking to knock it down to 19 if he can make a double here in frame number 5. And the big break to trip out the 4 and the 10.
Huge break. And Stephen's got a unique ball roll. It's got a little bit more axis tilt to it. And I think at times that can really create some good pin carry. And we saw it right there in the 5th frame. Stephen Taylor doubling up.
Yeah, Stephen Taylor coming back, still talking to himself a little bit, not happy with the release on that shot in the 5th frame, but he has to be happy with the result. Sean Rash, 5th frame. And he comes high. Could he have burned too big of a spot in the pattern, Randy?
Well, either that or the lanes are going through transition. It just happened right in front of Sean, and it took just a couple frames later than it did for Stephen Taylor.
And a huge break for Sean there. Gets the 6 to kick out the 10 on that conversion. 26 is the lead halfway through this opening match here. The 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open from Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville, Illinois. Phil Brylow and Randy Peterson on the call with you. Sean Rash, 6th frame. And it seemed a little different projection on that shot, Randy.
And you could tell just how much longer the ball went down the lane before it hooked. So Sean made an adjustment, found a little bit more oil.
Winner of this match takes on Patrick Allen, our number 2 seed EJ Tackett, and waiting in the wings, looking to get back-to-back extra frame titles. Ryan Ciminelli, winner at the PBA main shootout. Taylor, 6th frame, looking for 3 in a row, scrambles it out and gets the 4 out from behind.
And all of a sudden, we have a ball game here. Stephen Taylor 1 strike away from taking a 4-pin lead.
And some of you may be wondering why the commentary is a little less wordy than some in the past. Well, because of the size of the crowd here at Liberty Lanes, we've kind of been forced near the bowlers area. So while the bowlers are up on the approach, Randy and I need to make sure we're keeping it down. Taylor for 4 in a row in the 7th frame. Oh, nothing but flush.
And he just took the lead with that strike right there. Sean Rash can regain the lead with a strike here in the 7th.
Rash a little extra time at the rosin bag. Got to make sure that grip is good. Looking for a double here in the 7th. For a 6-pin lead. And 6 pins left. 2, 4, 8, and 10 combination.
He went high on that lane the shot before, and that ball never picked up. 2, 4, 8, 10 couldn't happen at a worst possible time in this match for Sean Rash.
Do you just go for the count in this situation, Randy, or do you make an attempt at it?
And at this juncture, you try to make it.
He's going to try to give it the wheel at the 2, 4, 8, 10. Too much of the 2-pin. That is brutal on that effort. And now that's a 16-pin deficit, and that can grow with Taylor working on a string. Max score now for Sean Rash, 232, and he's pretty much in mandatory strike mode the rest of the way out. And the 2-pin decides to fly away. Leaves the 4-7.
He's lost his ball reaction. Over under on both lanes now. Gets it to the right, it overhooks, gets it in, it goes too long. What I saw yesterday and today was when players did get the over-under, they actually balled up. They went to a stronger piece of equipment. But in a one-game match, you gotta dance with the one you brought and have confidence in it.
Cross lane for the conversion. Leaves Rash with a 222 maximum. Right now Taylor at 228 pace with strike spare, but that's not really happening, I'm sure.
It's amazing how quick this match turned around.
And just how quick you have to stay ahead of the moves out here on the PBA Tour.
I mean, Stephen Taylor got off to such a bad start, and all of a sudden now he's leading by 16.
And a chance to pretty much put this match away if he can add on to his string here in the 8th and 9th. dead flush again on that lane. Spectacular shot.
Yeah, great shot. And a strike here in the 9th frame. This match is pretty much over. He's in the 220s now. With a strike in the 9th, he'll be in the 230s. Sean Rash, max score 222. Strike here, good count, match is over.
Little extra air in the thumb hole. Make sure the secure fit. Looking for lockjaws. Oh, you can't throw it any better, Randy.
He's going straighter with, again, with a little bit more speed, and he's got that little different roll, and so he's able to keep the ball on line and go straighter. Sean, you know, just a little bit more head belly, and he ran into that over-under look.
And once again, ball does not recover. 2-4-5.
Yeah, it looked good to start, and all of a sudden it went away, and it's amazing that it only took a couple of frames for Sean's ball reaction to go from pretty good to not so good at all.
Well, Steven Taylor's got to be feeling pretty good right now because his next match facing Patrick Allen, obviously no interference on Taylor's side of the lane. A little easier to read just your own oil movement on the lane than you and another righty?
Without question. I mean, the lanes aren't going to transition near as fast, and when the lanes do go, it's usually a little more subtle to where you can actually see it and avoid a disastrous open frame.
Rash just looking to finish up from the course. When it doesn't matter, they all fall.
You see, he made a ball change there, and it was different. You know, obviously the reaction was different, but that's the tough part about, you know, being in a one-game match. You just don't have the luxury of you know, taking off a half a game, going through 3 or 4 different bowling balls, and getting ready for the next game. It just doesn't happen.
So Taylor with this match no longer in doubt. He'll throw as soon as Rash is done with this shot. Well, Sean Rash helping to promote another event coming up on Xtra Frame, coming up in September at Parkside Lanes in Aurora, Illinois. So a lot of the PBA players that were here looking forward to that. There were some that were already letting Sean know that they were going to be participating in that event as well. So look for details on that, especially if you're in the Chicago area for Pro-Ams. You can look for that information at pba.com.
I'm going to go out on a limb now, Phil, and say that I think there's going to be a big advantage for the Southpaws based on what I've seen and how the lanes are breaking down on the right side. And I think this next match will tell us a lot. See what type of ball reaction Patrick Allen has.
Yeah, because we saw P earlier today, and we'll talk about during the next match. When he got locked in for a long period of time.
He had a 3-game stretch where he shot 858. He had the front 10, 289. Then he bowled 300 the next game. And then the game after that, I believe he had the front 7 or 8.
Spectacular. So Steven Taylor taking match 1. We'll be back with the quarterfinal match here from the PBA Xtra Frame Storm Open between Steven Taylor and Patrick Allen after this short break.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Xtra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Xtra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.xtraframe.tv.
And second match here from the PBA Xtra Frame Storm Open. Steven Taylor defeated Sean Rash, match number 1. No easier match here for him, advancing to face Patrick Allen. Phil Brylow, Randy Peterson here with you on the call for Xtra Frame. And a good shot there by Taylor. Not letting off at all after that first game.
Well, again, this is all going to come down to what Patrick Allen's ball reaction's like, because if he has a good one, we've already seen what PA can do, and we saw it in match play today earlier. If PA's got a good look, Steven Taylor's going to have to strike a lot.
PA 7-4-1 in match play today, and you can see why that winning record with shots that put 10 back in a hurry like that one.
He bowled pretty awesome today, and it was fun to watch. And it's actually, it's really a good feeling to be able to watch PA back on top of his game again.
Yeah, the only bowler that put up more pins today in the match play qualifying round is your top seed, Ryan Ciminelli. Patrick Allen, second frame, second strike. Scrambles a rack, and PA will let you know when he is on.
And he had choice of starting lane, so he chose to start the match on the right lane, which means he will finish on the left lane. I wonder if that was a strategy based on his ball reaction or Steven Taylor's ball reaction.
So wouldn't it be just to put pressure on somebody that maybe hasn't been in that position before on a national tour?
Well, it could be, because Patrick Allen would finish the match first. He would bowl on the right lane, then the left lane, while Steven Taylor would be sitting that entire time.
Taylor, second frame, looking for his double. Can't get the 6 to rock out the 10.
It could also be that, Patrick saw something in our opening match between Rash and Taylor, and maybe Patrick feels that the right lane is the worst of the two lanes for the righties. For me, generally, I always went with what I felt was my better lane. I wanted to finish on that lane and give myself the best chance to strike in the 10th frame.
Taylor cross lane at the spare, not a problem in that conversion. Taylor from Deer Creek, Illinois, 8-4 match play record today, to finish in the 4th position coming into the Stepladder finals. Bowlers bowled 8 games of qualifying on Saturday. Top 16 came back for 12 games of match play prior to the Stepladder this afternoon. Taylor with that long slide to the line, and once again, the mistakes these bowlers are making, it's through the nose, and they're looking to be breaking up splits at this point in time.
And again, I see that over-under reaction where when the right-handers do get it to the dry, it just comes off of the dry too strong. So they make a little move off of that, and they get the ball into a little bit more oil, and it goes too long down the lane.
And a huge break for Taylor. The 6 baby taps out the 10 pin. Keeps himself clean, but down currently by 13 pins. Patrick Allen looking to make it 23 if he can extend his string to 3 in a row. The 6 steps to the line, and the 6 pin goes down last. It took about 3 hits by the 3 pin on that 6 to take it down.
Down goes Frazier.
And PA talking to himself on the way back. The approach on that shot, knows it wasn't the cleanest of releases for him. Other finishers here at the PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. 16th place was Marshall Kent. 15th place, Derek Roseberry. And a name we haven't seen in a while on the tour. Nice to see him make a match play round. Steve Jaros in 14th. Fourth frame for Allen. This is Carpentersville, but he's not hammering. He's sawing those racks, Randy.
Ouch. Yeah, he took nice advantage of that little break that he got in the third frame there and came back and just shredded the rack. A PA is a lot of fun to watch, too, when he gets going. Very animated. And right now, I think he's given Stephen Taylor a lot to think about.
Taylor down 33 early with Stephen Taylor stepping up in frame number 4 here. Liberty Lanes, Carpentersville, Illinois, 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. Second match of the stepladder. Needs to get up, and something flies across the deck that wasn't the head pin and put that 10 pin to bed.
Was it the mechanic? Wow, that was a nice pin carry.
Yeah, head pin. I don't know if that may have been the 4 pin that got thrown all the way over by the head pin, but it went over there at a hearty rate of speed.
Unfortunately, you and I don't have the luxury of instant replay, so I'm just going to go with what you said.
Taylor, 5th frame, looking for a double. Chopping some wood here in Carpentersville.
And just like his match against Sean Rash, he went strike, and then he opened spare, and then he came back with a string. So this game here against Patrick Allen, strike, 9 spare, 7 spare, double. Unfortunately, PA has the first 4.
And this is where Sean ran into trouble in his opening match against Taylor. He had the front few strikes, and all of a sudden, the wheels came off. Up the outside of the lane. Down go all 10. Front 5.
There's 2 things you can count on. One, Patrick Allen hasn't won in a long time, and he is hungry for another victory. And 2, I've never talked this softly during a telecast before.
Yeah, usually you have the plexiglass booth at the ESPN TV tapings, and today here in Carpentersville, thanks to the large crowd that's come out to support the bowlers, we've been kind of forced in the settee area.
Huge crowd.
PA looking for the half dozen. Can't get the 6 to go.
Yeah, just a little tight on the head pin. He was looking for that trip 6, denied. Front 5, 9 spare. He'll sit down and see what Stephen Taylor can muster up. He's working on a double. Patrick Allen in the 230s already.
Yeah, right now 32 pins the lead for Patrick Allen, assuming the single pin is converted.
Don't ever assume, Phil. You know why.
Good cover there by Patrick Allen. You see Patrick, when he's on the approach, or right before he gets on the approach, a lot of talking to himself. You see the lips moving, a lot of talking to himself. Were you ever one to talk to yourself much on the approach when you were out here on tour?
Only in pressure situations and big moments, I would talk to myself. But yeah, there was a little. I had a little bit of that. PA talks to himself a lot, almost like he has a second friend that's bowling with him.
Taylor, 6th frame to cut the lead to 22. sat up in the pocket nicely. And now, once again, after a couple of errant shots, the move is made and the striking resumes.
And all of a sudden now, Patrick can see him in his rearview mirror.
Looking at the amount of rosin that's used by Stephen Taylor, there's got to be at least you got to figure he buys a gross of rosin bags at the beginning of each bowling season.
Let's just hope there's no asbestos in that bag, because it's going everywhere.
Taylor looking for 4 in a row in the 7th frame. Lead now down to 12 pins for Patrick Allen, and PA has to get the striking shoes back on immediately.
Yeah, you could tell that Stephen Taylor liked that shot. As soon as it left his hand, he came out of his posture and gave it the little run out. And anytime you see a player do that, you know it's going to be pretty good.
PA 3 for 3 on this right lane. Going to take the re-rack.
Here's the thing right now with the score. If PA misses again, it needs to be in this frame, because he could then strike out and still shut out Stephen Taylor if he were to go 9 spare here in the 7th. If Patrick were to strike here and get 9 spare in the 8th, he can be shut out.
You could tell with his reaction, he has that little wiggle in his thigh before he starts to go, and it didn't look right from the push away.
Well, he's taking an awful long time to throw this shot too. Re-rack and then the balk. I mean, this is taking forever. You know, there is an old saying, paralysis through overanalysis.
Seventh frame, and the blower 7-10 for PA. And in 2 frames, the tidal wave of momentum has shifted in this match.
That's just an awful break. I really like that shot off his hand. He did too. But to leave that type of blower 7-10 is just a bad break.
Wheels it at the 7-pin. Little tickle out of the pit, but not enough to get the 10 out. And now the lead firmly in Stephen Taylor's hands.
PA now must be thinking about striking out to have any chance. If he does strike out, he can still shoot 256.
Yeah, Taylor can ride through the second shot and the 10th no matter what PA does to shut out. But that's going to be 3 huge shots for Taylor coming up. Wrap the 4 around the 7, fierce for PA.
Sometimes bowling's a cruel sport. You know, he starts with the front 5. He goes a little high and leaves the 6 pin. Comes back with a nice shot with a pocket 7-10, and then throws a great shot there to leave a ringing 7. And now it's not looking real good for Patrick Allen at this point.
And Taylor, a prime example of sometimes you just have to stay patient to get through the transition to get yourself back in a position to win.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Eighth frame conversion for PA on that 7-pin. Right now, though, Taylor stepping up with a lead in the single digits, but he can get it out to double digits here with a strike in frame number 8. And as you can tell right now, Randy, neither one of these players in a rush to give the other bowler an opportunity to get up and throw another shot.
It's been a long time since Steven's thrown a shot.
And the head pin spins off the 4 and 5 and does not take down the 7-pin. And with that shot, we are tied with a conversion.
Yeah, he had a golden opportunity there with Patrick leaving the pocket 7-10. He gets a little marginal break there with a shaker 7, but with a spare here, we're all tied in this match coming down to the 9th and 10th.
Looked a little unsure when that ball moved at the break point. He waited a little longer than he thought it was going to, but gets the right side of that 7-pin and knocks it down. Winner of this match taking on our number 2 seed, EJ Tackett, in the semifinal here at the 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. And looking for his second PBA Tour title in a row. Our top seed waiting for that championship match, Ryan Ciminelli. Stephen Taylor, 9th frame. That's the way to respond and put the pressure back on your opponent.
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of Patrick getting up and striking out and forcing Stephen to do the same thing.
How quickly do you have to hit the memory dump button right now if you're Patrick Allen?
Well, the blower 710 on that lane was really good. He did re-rack prior to leaving it. He's re-racking again right now. So, yeah, you definitely want to dump. You want to have a short memory. Let's put it that way. You just got to get up and execute.
Patrick Allen stepping up in the 9th frame, a tie game. Quarterfinal match here, PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. And now making sure the fit is right. Getting another piece of tape out.
He was fidgeting with a spare ball. I watched him put a piece of tape in, take it out, put a piece in, take it out. He finally took the piece out and put it back up on the ball return. Now he's going after a strike ball with a piece of tape and that. So, again, we see what we saw in the 7th frame, a lot of time being taken, and we all witnessed the result. This is going to be a very interesting shot.
To remain tied in the match. Left the target all the way. Ball never had a chance to respond. And the 3-9-10 is pretty much the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. He just went after the piece of tape that he put in the bowling ball that came out of the thumb hole. I got to be honest, I don't know what's going on with this thumb and the tape. I don't know.
Two on the conversion, 192 in the 9th for Patrick Allen at open. 222 is the maximum.
I mean, just a bizarro game. He starts with a front 5, hasn't struck since. Tape coming out. I mean, yeah, it's the bad break in the 7th with a pocket 7-10 and then a big ring in 7 in the 8th. But I really don't even understand the last shot with him going 379 and then having to go across the foul line to grab the tape that he actually put in his strike ball.
Allen has to strike out to force Taylor to mark. There is the first one in the 10th, and that's a no-doubter we haven't seen in a while out of PA.
Well, he needs to double to force Stephen Taylor to mark. You know, I just thinking back with, I think the worst thing that could ever happen to you in a one-game match, whether it was, you know, the semifinal, final match, is when you have to start messing with your thumb holes. And it's almost like he got caught up in that late in the game.
Needs this to force the mark from Taylor, and right through the nose, 6-10.
It really looks like he lost his feel. And, you know, that the ball doesn't feel good in his hand right now. You could tell by some of his shots, some of his shot making and execution just doesn't look like what we watched all after, you know, all day today and this afternoon. It just doesn't look the same.
Is it just the situation, the will to win?
I mean, you know, but I don't really think so, because look how well he started. You know, I don't think it's the pressure. It may be a situation where halfway through the game he lost the feel for that thumb hole, and then started to try to save it by taping, and it's just bad timing.
212 the finish for Patrick Allen. Right now 9 on the first ball for Taylor. Even with a miss, would be 214. So Taylor has to approach this just like he's throwing any other shot in the game.
Yeah. I mean, 9 outs a winner.
Taylor looking for 9 for the win. That's the best shot of all there to lock it up.
Good one. It's the way to finish when you need a hit. It'll be interesting to see his next opponent is EJ Tackett. See what kind of ball reaction EJ has. I was real surprised by the end of that match and the way Patrick Allen, who started with the first 5 strikes in a row, didn't strike again until the 10th frame.
Stephen Taylor taking the opportunity here. Try out another piece of equipment. Not a bad choice at this point in time. So we're going to let Stephen Taylor finish this match. Randy Peterson and myself, Phil Brattle, will be back with the semifinal match here for the 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open after the short break.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
And the semifinal match here from the 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. Phil Brattle and Randy Peterson on the call with you. EJ Tackett, our number 2 qualifier, leading things off in the semifinal match against Stephen Taylor, and not a surprise for EJ throwing that urethane ball and starting with a strike.
That was urethane?
That was urethane. EJ, our number 2 qualifier. His match play record today, 9-3-0, best match play record in the field. Stephen Taylor, winner of 2 matches so far, climbing the ladder, and he started every game with a strike, and it always seems to be the second and third frames seem to be his bugaboos.
That's right. He keeps winning, and that's all that matters.
I think that rosin bag is half the volume it was when he started the step ladder at the rate he's been pounding it.
I need a surgical mask.
Sure. Stephen Taylor, second frame, looking for the double. Can't get the 9 to go on a slightly high hit.
Yeah, but I think that's okay because every time he doesn't strike in the second frame, he wins.
Keep the momentum going. It's worked so far.
Don't change the mojo, baby.
No problem covering up the spare for Taylor. And E.J. Tackett just walked down the approach. I think he was very surprised to see you and I so close to the action here at Liberty Lanes.
As long as he doesn't hear me talk, I'm okay.
EJ fast up to the line, fast pins going away into the pit.
Yeah, here's a young man that's got so much talent, and he's really struggled on television. It would be nice to see him put together a real solid performance for a number of reasons. One, it would be fun to watch, and two, it would really help his psyche.
And his lone PBA title came in the Xtra Frame Lubbock Sports Open last July. He was the top seed and took home that title. Third frame for Tackett, looking for the 20-pin lead, and he wasn't happy with that from the get-go. Or his get-gone went right there.
I mean, we haven't seen a ball go Brooklyn yet, and I got to be honest with you, Phil. I don't care what pattern you're bowling on. That can never be a good sign. But when you're bowling on Cheetah and there's so much free hook to the right, and you go Brooklyn, well, you really have to start questioning your bowling ball.
And that's where we've seen issues with EJ before in pressure situations, just kind of letting the single pin or the easy spare get away from him. Then he comes back and he laughs it off. That's... I'm good.
Pointing the finger at you, Phil. EJ's giving it to you.
I probably deserve it in one form or another, and unfortunately for Stephen Taylor, I don't think he feels he deserved that. 4-10.
Well, again, you know, as the oil pattern breaks down, this Cheetah oil pattern at 35 feet, as it breaks down, what happens is the front part of the lane goes, the players have to move in a little bit, and then the lanes get wet dry. Get it to the right early, it hooks high, get it in, it goes too straight. And that's why I'm questioning E.J. Tackett throwing urethane, because normally, and what we've seen throughout the 2 days here, when the lanes got, the players like to call it getting cliffed now. Back in my day, it was wet dry, means the same thing. But when the lanes start to get wet dry, what the players that had success did here, they actually went to a stronger ball. E.J. decided to go to a weaker ball.
Taylor making sure that thumb hole gets that thumb well in. Looking to bounce back from that open in the fourth frame and back-to-back opens. And could he have maybe guessed the wrong way with the move with EJ throwing urethane instead of throwing resin? Is that maybe fooled him? Maybe fooled Taylor?
Do you guess, or do you wait until you actually see something happen before you make an adjustment? You know, the difference is urethane carries the oil down the lane, as you know, and EJ with his real high rev rate, the only thing that's going to happen is the front part of the lane will burn up a little bit. That urethane ball will drag oil down the lane, but I don't see that as making Stevens' ball go high unless he made an adjustment, unless he moved. If anything, I would have thought it would make his ball go light or come in later.
EJ Tackett, fourth frame, can't get the 4 out.
So what's happened now is because he's throwing urethane, he has to go straighter from farther right. And when his ball sees that dry with his rev rate, it's going to go high, it's going to go through the nose, it's going to go Brooklyn. I'd rather see him take a stronger ball, move in, and blend out that wet-dry reaction.
Yeah, he does have a resin ball, a pretty medium resin ball on the rack for his use.
You know what's interesting is Patrick Allen is down on the practice pair, still bowling, even in defeat. That's how hard he's been working.
And is it just to see if it was a feel thing at the end?
He worked so hard at his game that he probably wasn't real satisfied with how things ended. And yeah, I think it was a feel thing.
Tackett, fifth frame. Lucky to get the 8-10 on that shot, leaving just the 2.
So would you agree with me that he has over-under?
Definitely. The way you explained it, let my eye pick it up perfectly.
Now it's time to go bigger ball, stronger ball, bigger engine, reactive resin, but he's got to go big ball now.
No problem with that single pin for Tackett. 32 pins the lead. Other top finishers here at the PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. 13th place, Bill O'Neill. Pardon me, 12th place, Bill O'Neill. 13th place, Blake DeMare. And a Traber, but not one everyone's familiar with. In 11th position, Brian Traber, the nephew of Dave and Dale Traber. Taylor looking to bounce back off of back-to-back opens. Fifth frame. And I believe that was a ball change for Mr. Taylor.
Well, that was the same ball that he used in the 10th frame of the last game. Didn't go to it, and now he's probably wanting to kick himself in the rear end for not. However, that's just one shot. The back-to-back splits in the third and fourth, third and fourth frame. That it looked like the ball checked early from the spot he was playing and went through the nose, and he paid the price both times.
Looking to cut the lead of Tackett down to 22. Taylor. Sixth frame. Back-to-back flush shots.
Yeah, well, hey, if every bowler had a crystal ball, it would be easy, right?
We'd all be out here on tour. Well, maybe not all. I don't even think I'd be good with a crystal ball. Tackett still staying with the urethane. Projected it out to the right a little further. Is he playing with fire a little bit out there, Randy?
I don't like it. I think, like I said, I think when the lanes get real wet dry, I think the move is you got to go to stronger ball. And what's interesting is that he did that. For 2 days he did that. And now he's not doing that, which is interesting.
To get the lead back out to 22, wraps the 10. And now it's just make sure you make it and move on.
And then there's the other factors the pin carries. So, it's like my buddy always said, if when you were playing golf, if you knew what direction the ball was going to go in before you swung at it, it would be a much easier game. And bowling is a lot like that. If you knew you had to make the move, or if you knew exactly what the right ball was to throw before you threw it, it'd be easy.
Makes that 10 pin pay a little bit for standing.
All I can say is that when Steven Taylor gets home, he's going to need a lot of hand lotion after working that rosin back the way he has. He's been beating that. He's been hitting that thing like a punching bag.
His wife's sitting in the crowd today, and we should ask her between games, what's his hand care regimen? Taylor with a chance to take the lead. And once again, these matches' momentum is moving quickly. That puts him down by 2 pins if he strikes in this upcoming frame 8. Down by 2 pins. It's that extra frame math that pops up once in a while. Looking to get the string out to 4. And lane 15 returns an evil favor to Taylor after Tackett did the same thing on that lane.
Well, he made the ball change and threw a 3-bagger, and that was a nice shot there, that ring and 10. I think he's in a pretty good spot now, and at least he knows what his ball is going to do. The problem is I'm not so sure E.J. Tackett does.
So with that conversion, 13 pins is the lead for Tackett. Taylor sitting at 134 in the 7th, spare in the 8th. Tackett 127 in the 6th, spare in the 7th. So with a strike, Tackett would get to 147. 237, Tackett's maximum score. That ball seemed to read up even earlier than anything I've seen so far this game.
All right, so there's 2 things that a player looks for. 1 is ball reaction. 2 is the ball going through the pins the right way to strike. I don't believe EJ has either of that, even though he still has a commanding 11-pin lead. I'd still like to see him change balls, move in, and open the lane up. Have I beaten that dead horse enough this game?
Well, you got to figure out the way scores have been all day, though. He's got 3 strikes in 8 frames to show for it. I don't think that's necessarily beating a dead horse, Randy. The carry just isn't there with that ball.
Well, remember that 3rd, 4th, 5th frame, he didn't hit the pocket. So he started with a double, went Brooklyn, went through the nose, went light, then he flushed it and went ring 10 stone 9 it. When you average 250 in match play, and then you're on 1 pair of lanes with the guys, and this is how they break down, and then you decide that this is the right action or right plan of attack, and you're only shooting 2-0, I would change.
E.J. Tackett, 9th frame, scrambles a rack, gets them all down.
All right, and he wanted that hit because now he can throw the first, he can go strike 9 spare in the 10th frame and shut out Steven Taylor no matter what Steven does here. I got one for you, Phil. So let's say Steven Taylor, for some crazy reason, doesn't strike out, and E.J. Tackett has a free pass in the 10th frame. Does he try a different ball in the 10th? And if so, what ball? And if it looks good and it goes flush and it strikes, does it convince him to change balls to start the match against Ciminelli? Because I promise you right now, in his brain, if he does get to Ryan Ciminelli, he knows there's no way 210 or 220 is going to beat Ryan.
There's a shot from Taylor to still keep the pressure on. Taylor 214 striking out, and as you mentioned, Randy, strike 9 spare would get 215 for Tackett in that case. Yeah, Ryan Ciminelli averaged nearly 250 today, and then you add his bonus pins on top of it. He was leading pinfall today by over 100 pins over his next closest competitor. Ciminelli's got to be feeling pretty good waiting in the wings. Especially when he's seeing 2 O's and 2 teens on this pair.
Oh, that's a big shot there. And you're right, Phil. A big shot there by Steven Taylor. One more, he forces EJ to get the first hit, 9 spare. It's a big shot coming up. Remember the last 3 shots for EJ Tackett, ring 10 stone 9 strike. Last time on the right lane for EJ, solid 9 pin.
Taylor looking to add the pressure on to Tackett right through the nose. He just seemed to pop up a little bit on that shot. So if he gets 2 here, he would have an even 200 score. And that's just going to...
He needs a mark, so he can't change balls. He's got to go with the one he brought to the dance, and hope that it doesn't hit the dry early and go right through the face for a big 4.
EJ Tackett to advance to the championship match against Ryan Ciminelli. Quality shot, but once again we see that wrap 10.
He's got to spare this, and then he needs, I believe, 5 on his fill shot.
Yes.
What do you think, Phil? Do you think he's using the correct ball?
Not with that many 9 counts on the board, even with your errant shots are really looking, even more errant.
No chance with that ball.
Gets that covered up. Tackett needing 5 pins on his fill ball.
And now you're in a situation where you can't even really go to a different ball, can you? At least you can get 9 with the ball he's using. I mean, he's staying with it.
And without getting practice going into the championship match, it's really got to weigh on his mind. That's enough for the win. EJ Tackett will be taking on Ryan Ciminelli in the championship match for the 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. Phil Bryland and Randy Peterson will be back with that call after this short break.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
The championship match from the 2016 PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. EJ Tackett, Ryan Ciminelli, with Tackett leading off in the first frame. And gee, Randy, what a surprise.
At least he was listening. Now let's see if it works. I mean, at least he is smart enough to make the change. He knows there's no way he's going to beat Ryan Ciminelli with 2-0. He had to make the change, and now he has to make a guess as to where to stand and where to throw it, and he did a pretty good job.
Ciminelli looking for back-to-back PBA Tour titles, and everything vaporizes but that 8-pin.
That was filthy. Ryan Ciminelli's got a lot of power, a lot of speed, and that ball went right past the 8-pin. Every time I see somebody leave an 8-pin, I get the meat sweats.
No problem covering up that single pin. $10,000 and a PBA Tour title up for grabs in this championship match. PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. Phil Brilo, Randy Peterson on the call for you. Ciminelli looking for back-to-back titles after winning the PBA main shootout in Portland in the beginning of April. Almost got the roll on the 3-pin.
See, and I see a little wet dry on the left as well. It's either that or there's a little hang on lane 15. Ryan Ciminelli needs to figure that out and figure it out quick.
Yeah, looking at his shots in practice, he didn't seem like he had the confidence in the ball reaction on a couple of shots.
See, and that's when I think you need to go to stronger equipment. At least, if nothing else, you know it's going to hook when it gets to that spot.
Other top finishers here at the PBA Extra Frame Storm Open. Sean Maldonado finished in 9th, and Jordan Klassen out of Ontario finished in 8th. Tackett looking for the double. That 10-pin stands in defiance of Tackett.
But at least it hit the pocket, and it hit the pocket fairly flush. That's okay.
Tackett, no problem covering up that 10-pin. Single pin lead for Tackett after 2 frames. He's got to be happy with the improvement in ball reaction from that last match against Taylor.
Well, he would have been happier if he would have doubled there, but I mean, at least now I think he's got a little bit better idea of what his ball's going to do when it leaves his hand.
Third frame, Tackett, 10 back.
And I think that he also probably has more confidence in that he can shoot better than 2-0 with that ball. Remember, Phil, 1-game matches, it's so hard as a player to decipher all the information. You got to pick the right ball, the right line, make the good shots, and hope it's right. Because guess what? You only have 10 frames. If it's not right and your opponent starts with a 7-bagger or 8-bagger, you're out of room, you're done.
And Ciminelli for flying around the 7-pin.
There's another a point to make is that Ryan Ciminelli averaged right at 250 in match play. He hasn't struck yet in this game. And again, going with a ball that I think may be a little too weak. If he were to go to something a little bit more aggressive or something with surface or maybe an asymmetrical ball, might be a different story. But you don't average 250 for 12 games with bad pin carry.
Back-to-back light shots on lane 15.
Didn't see that from him all day today in 12 games of match play. You didn't see that. You know, maybe once he'd make the adjustment or make the change. But now it's back-to-back shots on that left lane. Time to make a ball change. And, I mean, it's right now is the time.
Three, 6, and 9 disappear for Ciminelli, but that leaves him in a 5-pin deficit to Tackett, with Tackett stepping up with the possibility to double it in frame number 4. Did he just gas that one?
It was a bad shot. Just a bad shot.
I mean, you watch the follow-through. He was up on his toes a bit and gave everything a little extra on that shot.
A lot of times players will do that when that ball comes in a little late. When he left that half 10, the last time up on that right lane, the ball came in a little late for that 10 pin, and a lot of times players, they'll remember that, and they'll try to give it a little extra, and that time he did. He gouged the holes out of it, got it to the dry early, and went high.
And the interesting part right now is the two lanes that these bowlers are struggling with, Ciminelli with the left lane, Tackett with the right. That's where they're finishing their 10th frames later on this game. Tackett up by 5, 5th frame. Everything looks so much more relaxed coming off the hand that time.
Much better shot, much cleaner shot, and let the ball just do it what it's designed to do along with the friction on the lane.
Tackett keeps his lead at 5 pins, with Ciminelli stepping up in the 5th. The quick follow through, 10 back for Ciminelli.
Staying with that ball. Let's see if he makes a change on the left lane.
How tough is it to make a move if you think that lane is wet dry on this left lane right now?
It's really tough. Now, I don't know if the left lane is wet dry or if there's just a hang spot on that lane.
Ciminelli for the double in the 6th frame. Back-to-back packed shots for Ciminelli.
Well, he put the touch on that shot there and got that ball to face up. That was beautiful.
Puts Ciminelli in the lead by 5 pins, but Tackett can retake it by getting his own double here in the 6th frame. Other top finishers in this event: PBA 50 player Scott Weber in 7th, and Aaron Lawrence just missing the show. In 6th, he was up on his toes again on that shot, and the 7-9 goes last. And I just looked over at his ball rep, Brett Spangler, and Brett's got the cat that just ate the bird look on his face.
No comment.
As E.J. Tackett looks at the booth and goes, "Thanks, Randy." Tackett back in the lead by 5 pins.
That was so awesome.
Looking for 3 in a row in the 7th, lead out to 15. Just perfect on that lane.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he had to do, was to take advantage of that nice break on the right lane. He finally got the ball to face up on that lane, trips it 7-9 out, and he turned it into a 3-bagger, coming back with a beautiful shot on the left lane. It's perfect.
Ciminelli to get back within 5 pins in the 7th. Another 8-pin.
Well, he doesn't like the fact that he leaves a solid 8. Now, that's the second one that he's left in this game. He watched his opponent trip the 7-9 out late. He leaves that, and right now, E.J. Tackett in the driver's seat.
Conversion for Ciminelli in the 7th. Leaves him down by 16 pins with 3 frames remaining. And want to take the opportunity here to thank Jerry Morano and his staff here at Liberty Lanes. Great hosts this week for the 2016 PBA Xtra Frame Storm Open. Ciminelli, 8th frame. And you can see at release he wasn't happy with it, and you don't see the 6, 7, and 9 combination very often.
It looked like he missed it just enough at the bottom. With his ball speed, he misses that ball that he's throwing. He misses it just a little bit. It's going to hang and do that. EJ Tackett, driver's seat now.
Yeah, and EJ wasting no time getting ready to get up on the approach and extend his strike string here in the 8th frame. EJ looking to get up by 30 pins. Almost the blower 710. He got that one a couple of boards wider at the break point. Then in the 6th.
That was a good shot. It's just that lane. Look, Phil, he's in the driver's seat right now. He needs 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare the next 3 frames. And he can't lose.
EJ looking for his 2nd career PBA title, and they would both be on extra frame.
So, hey, Phil, what are you trying to say? Ditch TV? No more ESPN? If you're EJ Tackett, forget bowling on TV and just bowl on the internet?
Well, considering that when he was in Lubbock, Texas, I was on the call for that one as well. No Mike Jakubowski.
Now I know where you're going with this. Get rid of Jakubowski. Get Phil in. Okay.
No, we're always want MJ here on extra frame, no doubt about that. And a great shot by Tackett in the 9th. And that's pretty much put the crown on his head and make him the champion.
Ooh, really? What if he opens in the 10th, bro? And Ciminelli strikes out.
That's a good point. I shouldn't be counting my chickens before they hatch.
That lady hasn't started singing yet.
And
you know which one I'm talking about.
And you know Ciminelli is not just going to roll over and let it walk away from him.
Heck no. Guy's a champion. Still can't believe you said that about Mike Jakubowski.
I'm sure he'll let me hear about it. So 210 the maximum here for Ciminelli with a full ride in the 10th. Gets the first one, needs the next 2 to keep pressure on. 9 miss for Tackett. In the 10th frame would be 207.
Remember the last time EJ was up on the right lane, he almost left to pocket 710. So this is a big shot coming up for Ciminelli.
And in the 10th frame of his match against Taylor, needed a mark, left the 10 pin on the first ball as well. He had to convert to get into this championship match. To keep the dream alive. Splits the 8 and the 9 beautifully.
I promise you, coming into this title match, that nobody predicted Ryan Ciminelli would only bowl 210. Guaranteed he was the favorite. As good as his look was all week, and as well as he bowled in match play and being the number 1 seed, he had to be the favorite.
.210 for Ciminelli, and any mark with 3 pins will get Tackett into the winner's circle for the 2nd time in his career on the PBA Tour. Tackett for the win. Head pin and 2 pin go up and around the 4.
Let me tell you how close that was to being a 4-8-10. Careful now.
Just a little interesting on the spare. For for Tackett. And now 2 pins makes him the PBA Extra Frame Storm Open champion. Title number 2 for E.J. Tackett. And we'll be back from Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville to wrap up the PBA Extra Frame Storm Open after this short break.
Live, on demand, worldwide, Extra Frame is always on. It's the online bowling channel. Watch live qualifying rounds and match play from every PBA Tour stock and every PBA 50 Tour event on your big screen, PC, mobile phone, or tablet. Archived nationally televised shows and content is available 24/7. Extra Frame is always on. Subscribe now at www.extraframe.tv.
All right, everybody, help me welcome a 2-time champion here at Liberty Lanes, E.J. Tackett. E.J., congratulations on win number 2.
Thank you very much.
It got real interesting. In your first match against Steven, I said, you know what, I don't like the urethane ball because you had trouble getting to the pocket, and then when you did, the carry was awful. What went through your mind before the match against Ryan Ciminelli?
Brett and I had a conversation before we started the match, and we talked about that, you know, if I wanted a chance to win, it wasn't going to be throwing a urethane ball. So I grabbed the Forza, and that's the ball I had gone to, you know, early in the day and yesterday late. You know, that's the only thing I thought I had a chance to win with, and you know, it's this pair was not very good. I threw a couple bad shots, but I threw some good shots that didn't carry, and you know, it is what it is.
So you went to that ball, and the match got real tight, came down to the 9th and 10th frame. In the 10th frame, you needed a mark to win your second title. You've had some struggles on television. This is Extra Frame, so it's kind of the same, but not really. What were you thinking when you got up in the 10th frame?
You know, I had struggled on that lane, you know, through both games. I got up there, and I thought I threw a pretty good shot. I might have gassed it a little bit. Came in a little light, left the 4-pin, and the first thing that went through my mind was early in the day I'd missed a 4-pin, so I was like, yeah, of course I have to make the pin that I missed earlier in the day to win my second title, but by a hair I did. You know, and it doesn't matter how you knock it over as long as you do.
What does this win mean to you? I know the first win was obviously on, it was an Extra Frame event, but it's been almost a year now. What does this win mean for you and your career at this juncture?
They always say that the second win is always the hardest. I've been close last year a couple of times, the doubles event in Indiana with Walter, and then the World Championships, and then I made the show at the TSC. I didn't finish second there, but it's nice to be able to, you know, get that second win and actually win a couple of matches. It's really nice and feels great. You know, I've been bowling good the last few months, and you know, this just solidifies how good I've been bowling. So, and I'm really happy, and I hope I can continue this through the summer and maybe win a couple more. Who knows? The
16-pounders are looking good, aren't they? We're going to bring in the owner here at Liberty Lanes, our gracious host and owner, Jerry Morano. Jerry, you've got a few words and some cash for E.J. Tackett?
Sure. You know, E.J. bowled with me yesterday, bowled really, really well. I want to thank everybody out here, and of course Extra Frame and Randy for coming out doing the show, our staff. But E.J., you know, you really wrecked him yesterday, and I saw you leave that 4-pin, and you know, I know what it's like to almost slide by one, but congratulations on your second title. And again, thanks everybody here for coming out, and thank you very much.
Jerry, thank you so much. And again, congratulations, E.J. Tackett, winning his second time on the PBA Tour. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on Extra Frame.